All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what time it is, and right here, right now, we actually have Detroit, Michigan's finest. We actually got the legendary DJ King David, also known as Dirt Diggler, right here, live on the line, man. How are you doing this evening?
What's up, Dolly Myrtle, and everybody out there in Canada? Appreciate y'all tuning in.
Hey, man, I gotta say, I appreciate you for just giving us a bit of your time this evening, man. Me personally, I grew up on that Detroit hip-hop, man, so it's definitely an honor to welcome one of the best to ever do it right here on 97.7 FM.
I appreciate that.
But, man, I know you're a busy guy, man, so I'm going to dive right into this interview, but I want to take you back to the very beginning, man, and I have to ask first and foremost, man, what actually made you decide to get into the music industry initially, man, because you're just so talented at what you do, man. Your roots run so deep.
Thank you. Just seeing my friends being successful at it. I was always doing hip-hop since, like, the breakdancing days when I was a kid. So, I always bought all the rap tapes and all the rap records and things of that nature. So I was a lifelong fan. But when I saw it was possible that I could do something with it, I just stepped up to that plate and just ran with it.
And also as well, man, you were actually a member of the hip-hop group, the Mountain Climbaz. I was wondering, what's the story behind that iconic group? And of course, how did you actually get connected with the other legendary members?
The Mountain Climbaz started with Strike and Journalist 103. Those are the founding two members. And they went through different lineups before I became a member. What happened was, I had started DJing at a spot downtown Detroit called Cafe Mahogany, and it was a non-hip-hop and poetry spot. So journalists would come through there a lot, and me and him would just build just on some, hip-hop and what was going on, and he would, say new raps to me. So me and journalists became cool first, and I guess he told Strike about me. And I was a free agent at the time. I had just separated from my first group, and people kind of knew that I was out here making noise. I was doing radio with P Groove over at 88.1 at Mahogany. I was a known character coming up. So Strike came down to Mahogany one night and saw me on the tables, and he was like, we need a DJ. And at the time, they had a 12-inch record, which is kind of rare for a Detroit group, like in 99, like early 99. And they had a cassette single, so I saw they were serious. And I knew I was serious, so I became a member. And then we added two more rappers, but only one of them stuck around. So the final lineup was myself, Strike, Journalist, and YG.
And I gotta say as well, man, like, you went on to actually do a phenomenal work for Strike's solo work as well, man. And I do know that he was also lickety split in 8 Mile, which we're definitely going to get into further on in the interview. I just wanted to make sure our listeners actually knew about that.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, me and Strike, the group kind of dissolved, and it was just me and him. And we ended up doing the Method Man tour, the 421 the day after. For that album, we did the Midwest part of that tour with Method Man, Inspector Deck, Master Killer, Street Life, DJ Mathematics, and then Manager 7. Peace to the Wu-Tang.
And I have to ask, man, because that was actually in my question list, but since we're actually on that topic of that 421 the day after tour, man, I have to ask, man, like, what was one of your most fondest memories of being on that tour? Because I already know, putting all you legendary hip hop acts together, man, there must have been some just timeless memories that you guys shared on the road.
The reception of us just being with Wu, and by Strike being in the movie, it was like I felt like I was on top of the world for moments. Like, people run up to you and they kind of like know that you got mixtapes out, and the internet wasn't really as big as it is now, but the kids was knowing about our underground stuff that we might have pressed up 1,500 copies of. And we like in Indiana and Ohio and Illinois. It was crazy. I became a better chess player thanks to Master Killer.
And
Out of chess.
And also as well, man, in the year 2000, Mountain Climbaz actually dropped the phenomenal album titled Maximum Carnage. I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners a bit more about this iconic record, and of course, what was it just like being in the studio creating that amazing project?
It was easy for us because when I got with the group, I started doing mix CDs on them. So I would just take hot beats and blend them together and just have them come and rap on them. And then that's how we kind of built our name up through the mix CDs before we even really had an official album out. So with the album, it was really about getting the beats they feel comfortable writing to and just dropping the verses. Like, we'll do 2 songs in one day sometimes. Like, it came real quick.
And I gotta say, man, the one song that I still love to this day off that record is actually NWO.
Oh, the New World Order?
Yeah, man, one of my favorite joints off the record. The whole album's phenomenal, but that's the one song that I always go to.
That was me doing the skits, all the crazy voices.
That actually was?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
It's not that album. Maybe I'm thinking about the wrong album. But there's one album where I actually read parts of the Willie Lynch letter.
I actually did not know that, man. I really didn't.
Yeah, but the Mountain Climbaz was a different group because they were all Muslim. So the spiritual and the knowledge and the culture was already ingrained in them as individuals in their regular life. So sometimes when certain beats just provoke them to write like that, the concepts is just crazy.
And also as well,
definitely
man,
ahead of our times with that type of stuff. And it's still relevant right now.
And also 1 year as well after Maximum Carnage, man, in 2001, you actually dropped the very first installment of Detroit Street's mixtape series. I was wondering, can you tell our listeners a bit more about that series? And of course, if we haven't already checked it out, where can we actually check out that series?
They're available on Discogs. You can just go on Discogs and type in DJ King David, and it's a nice catalog. It's been curated. That's up there. That was just me playing into my relationships, like the artists who I was really around at the time, and really the people who I had their music at that set point in time. I never really asked artists for music until later on. I just used what was in front of me and the people who was around me. So I had people do drops, and it was one of the first Detroit hip-hop cities that was personalized, you know what I'm saying, with the drops. I had drops from Eminem, drops from Proof, Obi, by 10, Rest in Peace, Slum Village, Dogmatic, On Climbers, DJ Butter, DJ Dez. It was like just co-hosted by everybody. Because I want everybody to be heard. So I just kept doing them, kept doing them. So right now, it's like the only mixtape series dedicated to all Detroit music.
And I have to ask as well, man, are you still doing it every single year, or like is this something that you did for a while and kind of put it to rest for a little bit?
Yeah, I kind of slowed down because I started doing DVDs in 2007, and I did Detroit Streets DVD series, which was more or less industry artists mixed with Detroit artists, but I kept the name going because it was still a product of Detroit Streets. So I did those for like maybe 5-6 years, and then I started focusing on being an artist. Like after Proof passed away on my birthday, rest in peace to Proof. He's one of the reasons why I even did do the Dirt Diggler thing. He was a fan of it.
And I gotta say, most definitely, rest in paradise to Proof, man. One of the most phenomenal MCs, me personally, I ever heard, man. And I still can't believe he's gone, man. I still sit back sometimes and think, what would Proof actually be like today if he was still here, man? Because, like I said, he was a phenomenal MC.
Yeah, he was something different. That was the first person I actually met in the hip hop community. He was at the hip hop shop, and I read about it in the newspaper, so I went to go check it out, do my investigation, and that's how I came across Proof. And we battle rapped. But at that time, I wasn't taking rap serious, but battle rapping him made me realize it was serious people in Detroit. So he told me he'd do a song with me one day if I paid my dues. And that happened like 7 years later, in 2001. We did a song for Sick Notes called Power of the Underground. Obi Trice is on it, Dogmatic, Proof, Strike, Paradigm, P Groove, Super MC, Fire Ella. It's like one big long posse record.
And also as well, man, while we're actually on the topic of just, you know, Proof and Detroit hip hop, man, in 2001 you actually had the opportunity to sit in for a recording session. The Outsiders actually recorded their album The Bricks. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about that day, and of course, what was it like just being in the studio watching the magic happen?
The out that came through Bizarre. Bizarre and him was cool with the outs, and Bizarre took me out there a few times and got me kind of familiar with them. And one time we were out there and we happened to go to the studio, and they were recording a song called State to State for the album. And it was just cool because it's the same studio that like the Fugees recorded in. Red, man, it's like all these famous artists recorded there. So just being able to get that energy and that experience is priceless.
And when you actually brought up Bizarre a few moments ago as well, man, I know that you guys actually have a phenomenal mixtape out as well. I was wondering, man, how did yourself and Bizarre get connected? And of course, where can our listeners actually check out that phenomenal mixtape with you and Bizarre if they haven't already done so?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. They can go on YouTube, DJ King David 313 Detroit Skills, or you can just type in DJ King David Bizarre. That's probably a little faster. But I met Bizarre. I got familiar with him at the hip hop shop as far as seeing him on the mic and just seeing his presence. But I didn't really get to know Bizarre until right before the Mountain Climbers. I was working at Modern Tribe Studios with my man Juan Shannon, peace to Juan. He had a compilation called Detroit Hip Hop that had Proof on it and had Dilla on it and a few other groups. So I was like doing distribution locally for that record label and DJing for one of the acts. So I would see Bizarre in the studio, and we realized we knew the same people in the street, and we just got cool. You know, I started DJing for him a few occasions, and you know, he schooled me on a lot of things about the rap game. Taking me to New Jersey, taking me to New York, just showing me that it's possible. So that mixtape is kind of like my thank you. You know what I'm saying?
And also as well, man, you actually had the opportunity to team up with Big Daddy Kane to actually release the collaborative mixtape titled The Wrath of Kane. I was wondering, what's the story behind that iconic project? And of course, how did you actually get connected with Big Daddy Kane?
With Kane, whenever he would come to town and do shows, I would just always be there. And one particular show, I actually got a chance to rap for him, like after the show, and we took photos, and he just gave me drops. Cause I used to run around with a tape recorder, so I was around all the artists, so I would just get drops, just for mixtapes. And that's all that really is a mixtape. You know, just me showing that I know his music, and I got a cosign, you know, a little personal drop. So I just took it around with it. There's a few artists I get like that, but it's all good because when I see them later on, I'm able to pass them the CD off, and you know, it's all love. I think last time I seen Ken, I gave him like maybe 3 copies of it. 2017 at Shane Park out here in Detroit.
And also as well, man, in 2012, you actually had the opportunity to actually do work on Lil Drugstore Street Certified record, man. I was wondering, you tell us a bit more about that, and of course, what was it like just being in the studio working with Lil Drug?
Wow, you were doing your homework. Boy, salute to you. You know more about me than I do.
Hey, man, I definitely try, man.
I went to middle school in his neighborhood, and the dude who ended up being my DJ partner lived on his street. Shout out to everybody on 7 Mile and Huntington. You know, so I've been doing drugs still probably since about 89, 90. And we used to just go to his crib and rap. And he was always rapping. Me and my boys were always DJing. So when we got older, we reconnected. And he's like, yo, you still be doing your DJ shit? I be seeing you. I'm like, yeah, what's up? You still rap? And it was simple, simple as that. He's a good dude, man. Everybody check out Lil Drugstore from Stubble Mile.
And I gotta say, man, he's actually still doing music as well, man. I think I saw a couple posts circulating around Instagram around, I would say, like, just before the summer of him dropping a brand new record. I can't remember the name of it, but I do know that he has some new heat out as well.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think he has a video. He sent me a clip, like a preview of a video. But that was maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago, so I'm pretty sure that the new video is out. So whatever he sent me, I'm pretty sure the full version is available. Y'all can check him on YouTube.
And also as well, man, yourself and DJ Butter actually have a project currently in the works titled Good Dope Sells Itself. I was wondering, what can our listeners actually expect from this project when it does drop to the general public? And of course, I know you guys can't let too many cats out of the bag because you don't want to let out all the surprises. But when do you guys actually plan on dropping that particular record?
Well, we were gonna drop it a couple of weeks ago. Well, actually about a month ago. But we got certain phone calls and certain situations have arisen. So the product is more in demand now from certain people. So we're adding some surprises to it, some little more razzmatazz. Look for some videos to come out real soon. We got some tight visuals that's gonna really show people what to expect with the overall project. Because one video may be for one song, but the video gonna be so crazy you're gonna feel like you're looking at an album, but there's only one video.
And I gotta say, man, I already know that yourself and DJ Butter put out nothing but phenomenal projects, man. So you guys together on one project, I can only imagine what's in store for us hip hop fans, man. It's definitely gonna be a monumental project.
Yeah, this is my first time producing too. You know, I spent all these years DJing for other artists, doing the mix CDs, doing DVDs, managing artists, doing showcase, you know, doing tours with other artists. I've never really been in the studio to do my own music. So in this project, I got co-production on a couple of joints, and it's fresh. It's a refreshing thing for hip hop because every song can stand on its own. It's not a bunch of songs that sound alike. It's not predictable. It's a movie. It's good dope. It's gonna sell itself. I ain't got no more talking. It's good dope, y'all. Be ready to buy it.
And I have to ask, man. I know this might sound like a generic question, man, but obviously, you know what I mean. Like as you said, you're a DJ. You know, you've been putting out a lot of stuff throughout the years, as we just learned throughout this broadcast. But I have to ask, man, like, was it actually kind of difficult to actually jump into the production side of things, or did you just get in there and be like, you know what, it came natural to you?
It was easy. It was easy because I started DJing like on my own, doing my own parties when I was like 17, and the music is just second nature. You know, I hear music in my ear right now. So it was just all about just sitting down and coming up with a basic idea and just building off of it. You know, it's good. And shout out to DJ Butter. He really put his foot down. The shit he came up with is fucking crazy.
And also as well, man, I have to ask, what is next for yourself, DJ King David, man? Is there anything we missed during this interview? Anything else you still want to talk about or promote? Well, we still got you here live on the Canadian FM airwaves this evening.
Oh, yeah, I just want to shout out to all the artists who I've DJed for over the years. Black Sheep, Brand Nubian, MC8, Keith Murray, my dog Cool Keith. I've done a lot of work with Cool Keith. We got a song or two on the stash. And I started off DJing for him. He would do shows here in Michigan, and we had the same manager. So I would come out and DJ for Keith. So I did a mix CD, the first Dirt Diggler called Craftmatic, just me doing some mixtape shit. And I passed it to Keith, and he took a picture with it. And like 2-3 weeks later, he started sending me tracks in the email. And then I started doing more shows with him. But I would come out and rap. And then when he comes out and rap, I'll DJ for him. So I was doing a lot of work with Cool Keith before the pandemic hit. So shout out to Cool Keith. Shout out to my dude E. Perry, manager.
And also
did a showcase.
Oh, my apologies.
Your Life, Wayne Perry, Detroit Skills Showcase. I did a showcase for 4 years. You can go on YouTube, type in Detroit Skills, tons of performances, an open mic, trying to get the other artists in the city exposure. Just all types of stuff, man.
And also, as well, man, before we part ways, if you can, drop them social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated on everything DJ King David, if they're not already doing so.
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram, DJ King David 1, the number 1, Detroit Skills. You can follow me on YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's DJ King David 313, Detroit Skills. And I just opened up a SoundCloud for Dirt Diggler music, Davey Dirty Diggler. That's my aliases. You can follow me on SoundCloud at DJ King David 313.
And I got to say, first and foremost, man, thank you so much for just taking the time out of your busy evening and sliding into the 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM airwaves this evening, man. It definitely was an honor and most definitely a privilege to have one of Detroit's finest grace our radio station airwaves this evening.
Thank you. Shout out to my family. Shout out to all Detroit artists I ever worked with, all the Detroit artists I haven't worked with, all the Detroit artists that's trying to do it for real, represent the city. And shout out to Schoolcraft Ave, man. Riff Raff Schoolcraft. We worldwide, baby.
Hey, man, I got to say, thank you so much again, DJ King David, and definitely have yourself a wonderful night.
Thank you. Peace.